I'm Vicki Hogarth, and welcome to Southwest Magazine. Paddlefest Music and Nature Festival takes place in St. Andrews by the Sea, May 15th to 18th. Here to tell us all about it are Artistic Director Luke Macdonald and Recreation Director Dani Deonarine. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
I think this is our annual check-in to find out all about what's on the roster for this year. Luke, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about this year's lineup in terms of music and what we can expect.
Sure. So coming up soon. So we have over 50 artists performing this year on multiple venues across town. Of course, so we have the main stage, which is in Market Square, so that's kind of the marquee venue. We have music going from Thursday to Sunday there, and then lots of music around the community at venues like Sunbury Shores and Honeybeans Cafe, Drew Haven, the Red Herring Pub. Lots of free music going on around, like at the Algonquin, Char and Chowder, the Kennedy House, shows at the Hunts Marine Science Center. So just a diverse schedule of artists, artists from across Canada, and of course a lot of local programming, a lot of homegrown programming from New Brunswick and Charlotte County that we're featuring. A big component this year was sort of pairing local artists with an artist from out of town. So some examples of that are the programming at Honeybeans. You know, we have some young songwriters like Jacob Rose and Claire Blanchard playing with some performers from across the Maritimes. So really trying to partner some local programming with some of the programming that we have coming from across Canada.
I know for all of us who live right here in St. Andrews, we think of Paddlefest as the official kickoff to summer. Tell us a little bit about why it's so important to involve not just the main stage, but integrate different businesses and venues, both paid events and free events, into what you do every year.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's the kickoff for the season, and we just love to showcase the great local talent that we have on top of some national headliners. Really just for me, programming, I love to have a diverse lineup, something for everyone, multiple genres, so this year we have everything from reggae to jazz to folk to blues, and of course lots of great local artists as well.
I know you mentioned Jacob Rose. We've been lucky enough to have him in studio to sing Wharfbound, one of his singles. Tell us a little bit about, for people who are watching right now, when it comes to getting tickets. I know we're filming this episode right before the kickoff, but you can get a pass to the weekend, but you can also buy tickets to individual shows. How does it work, and how can people pick up a ticket, whether it's online or maybe in person?
Right. Yeah, so we do have some multiple options in terms of passes. We have a weekend pass, which gets you into all the programming. Some venues are subject to capacity, and then we have a main stage pass for the main stage, the tent in Town Square. And this year we're actually featuring a new pass option called the Periwinkle Pass, which is named in honor of Jamie Steele, one of the founders of Paddlefest, aka Dr. Periwinkle. And that pass is for kind of the smaller community venues that I mentioned, so Sunbury Shores and Honeybeans, Drew Haven, the Huntsman, so our more sort of intimate seated shows. So again, a variety of programming, whether or not you want to go and dance away at the main stage, or check out some more intimate acoustic singer-songwriter type shows, or check out some of the restaurant music, which a lot of that is free. So and tickets for all of the shows are available as well. So you can either buy a pass and then kind of just float around, or you can buy tickets for each individual show. And then, of course, free programming is just show up and enjoy. So,
and paddlefestnb.ca is the right website if you want to go online. Yes. Dani, obviously the name Paddlefest draws directly from outdoor activities. I do want to talk about one of the highlights of the outdoor activities, though, being the Run at the Wharf, which takes place on Saturday. For people who haven't had a chance to experience it in person, even just seeing a video of the Wharf Run is magical. But tell us a little bit about that event and why it's so special.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Wharfbound Run is taking place on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And it's pretty unique because you're running along the beaches, you get a great view of town and the area, you get some views that you wouldn't normally see of, the back of Minister's Island and the gorgeous water in the morning. I think it's a really unique one because, most runs are along a street or some other things. So I think people like the challenge of getting to maybe scramble along some rocks and really get their feet wet, so to say.
Sometimes literally.
Exactly, yeah. So, and there's a good group of people, I think it's the third year, I believe, now that the run's going on. So it's great to draw people in every year.
And so much of the activities that take place out, George, are about awareness of our environment. And what's neat about the Wharfbound Run is that for those who don't really understand that we have the highest tides in the world, I'm sure this gives them the reality of that. How hard is it to figure out when to plan it based on tide schedule?
Yeah, I mean, with all of our events, we're working with or against the tide, so to speak. So making sure that it's planned for low tide and we get everyone off the wharf, off the beach is an essential part of it. But yeah, no, Kurt does a great job of coordinating that, along with the Charlotte County Search and Ground Rescue that's also involved with it. So it really is a great community pairing event.
For those who still might want to take part in the run, how do you register and how do you make sure that you are a part of this activity?
Yeah, so there is registration open. All of the registration details for that event, along with all of our other activities, is found on our website, like you mentioned, paddlefest.nb.ca, and you can find full registration for everything. Just like you mentioned before, with our music, we also like to make sure that our events are low cost, low barrier. So a lot of our events you'll see are free or by donation, which is a great opportunity. I think Luke does a great job of having the music be kind of like a discover your new favorite artist, and I like to pair the events kind of the same way. Discover your new favorite hobby for the season. It's a great time to come out and try something new. One of the ones that I'm really excited to have back again is the Big Canoe Workshop sessions. So we had Canoe Kayak NB come out a couple of years ago, and they bring 26-foot canoes with them. We're going to pop those into Katie's Cove, and they can hold up to 10 people in it. So it's a fantastic way to get out on the water with an hour's worth of instruction for free and meet some new folks along with it. So that's happening on Saturday afternoon from 1 to 7, and the sessions are an hour in length, so you have the whole afternoon to pop in there if you want to.
And Luke, let's talk a little bit about that idea of music and nature coming together. Why is that still such an important part of what is the heart of Paddlefest, to tie music with nature and really involve all aspects of this community?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I mean, I think, the arts and nature works hand in hand so well together. They're both, extremely important to our well-being, extremely important to the world. And I think in some ways they're always a little bit at threat. So it is really important, I think, and I think this idea of protecting them both, protecting culture, local culture, and protecting the environment, really sync up well, and that's something that's really passionate to all of us involved with Paddlefest, and I certainly think to a lot of people in the community and people that come to Paddlefest. I think and expressing art and expressing that eco-grief and expressing those kind of things are really important, I think, things to do. We want people to have fun and celebrate this week, but also, maybe take something away or learn something new or learn about some efforts being done in this region to protect the things that are so important to us.
And obviously, always one of those inspirations for music, and I'm referencing Jacob Rose again, when you think of that song Wharfbound and that verse, I long to be wharfbound, it really is so much of an inspiration for musicians in this part of the world, the natural world that we have. Talk a little bit, though, about how you team up with other local businesses and organizations to bring some of the events here. I'll mention specifically Charlotte County Pride being one of the sponsors of a drag show that's going on at Sunbury Shores. How did that come to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think, that's, again, a great example of we really want to involve the community and community organizations and community members as much as possible. I mean, the way that I and Dani with the events and me with the music is something for everyone, and we want it to be a very inclusive event. So, having those conversations with Charlotte County Pride and doing the drag show this year, having a lot more, this year we have the community stage. We're trying to do a lot more free programming, accessible programming. We have some kids performers playing at the community stage, and then of course every year we have a show at the Huntsman Marine Science Center for their opening day. On Saturday they'll have a kids performer Saturday morning right after the seal feeding. So family-friendly activities, something for everyone. Have some performers playing at the Passamaquoddy Lodge this year for the residents. So yeah, just trying to really involve community organizations, community businesses, and of course a big part of that is like you said, the sponsorships, the partnerships. We have over 70 sponsors and partners. Most of them are Charlotte County based, and that's really huge. It takes a village, and certainly with Paddlefest at our size, we're a very modest, volunteer-driven event. So sponsors and partners like that are essential and so important. Yeah.
It takes a village. It's a saying that comes up a lot when we talk about Charlotte County, because like you said, it truly is true, and I think that's what makes Paddlefest such an important and beautiful kickoff to what we know as our tourism season, is that really showcases the community right from the get-go. Dani, we talked about the Wharf Run, but there are some activities, if maybe you're not hands up athletic in terms of running, but there's hikes and walks as well. Tell us a little bit about some of the outdoor events that might be a little more low-key in terms of endurance.
Absolutely. So want to have a space for everybody. I think that's a big part of it, is creating space and connections for folks. And I'm really excited that Nature NB is going to come in this year on Saturday and do a hike on Simpsons Hill. We haven't gotten to explore that area as much. So they're coming in to do a workshop with the iNaturalist app. So if folks aren't familiar with that, it's a fantastic one to get started with at the beginning of the summer, because it allows you to take photos of animals that you find on your hike, say like a bird or a tree, and it actually lets you ID it through citizen science. So it's fantastic if you want to learn more about what's around you and what you're seeing and listening to. So that one's a really fun one. Also looking forward to our annual yoga events. So we've got one on Friday with Trudy Fitzgerald. That one's a gentle hatha flow. So if you're looking to just ease yourself into the weekend, get all stretched and warmed up for it, that one's a fantastic one. And then the Saturday we've got a sunrise outdoor sort of yoga. I'll say sunrise, but it's at 9 a.m. Sunrise for a lot of folks that maybe attending. Yeah. That one's outdoor at Centennial Park with Luke Bailey of Yoga Rhythm, and that one's always a fantastic one. Gets you outside and moving. And then on Sunday we've got Sound and Ground yoga. Double check that, sorry. Sound and Ground actually on Saturday. And so that one will be fantastic. Irene, Graham, and Pseudonaut come in, and Pseudonaut is a DJ, plays a lot of really great ambient noise while Irene leads. So it's a really great way to blend those two things and pair them together.
It draws a lot of people, visitors to the community, but it also brings a lot of people who maybe grew up in St. Andrews or hold St. Andrews close to their hearts as kind of a homecoming event. In this case, it's true for people like Owen Steele, who's a musician as well, who will be playing this festival. But Luke, as someone who grew up here, talk a little bit about what Paddlefest means for those who maybe this is their first event to come home to of the year.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, over the years before I was involved, it was a weekend. If I was in, at school or whatever, I would come home, and that's a really big part of it. Again, kickoff to the season, a lot of people coming home for the weekend, and just that warm, welcoming presence around town. Whether or not you're taking in the music, taking the activities, or just enjoying the town and hopefully some good weather. It really is just a great homecoming. Yeah. I
saw a neat picture of you online that must have been you in high school with a high school band. I think Tynan was in it as well. He's a face I'm used to seeing really, I think, only at Paddlefest, but you have a long history with him. Can we talk a little bit about the volunteer aspect of Paddlefest and how people get involved if maybe they want to be a part of it next year, just not in terms of attending events, but helping out as well? Right.
No, yeah. As you said, very important. Couldn't do it without our volunteers. We have 40 to 50 volunteers every year. Just an essential part of our team. Everything from helping us set everything up, to working merchandise, to green team, to helping with the events, security, things like that. If people are interested, if they want to, it's a great way to enjoy the festival, be involved, get to meet people. So we are still looking for some volunteers. There is a volunteer page on our website. They can go there and fill out our volunteer form, or even just stop in if you're coming to town and you want to lend a hand. We are always looking for helping hands. And again, like I said, it takes a village, and it's certainly, we love our volunteers, and we have a lot of repeat volunteers every year. And it's a great way, again, to not just Paddlefest, but just events in town in general, anything, if you want to get out and help your community volunteering your time is a perfect way to do that.
I know that this festival also, when we say it's a kickoff to summer, that means a lot to the business community. It really brings a lot of people to town, not just in terms of staying in hotels and inns, but also dining in restaurants, shopping in the stores. And I think a lot of people in the business community truly appreciate that kickoff. It's before school's out, and it really gets summer going. If somebody wants to be a sponsor, how do they go about doing that? Is it still possible to do it for this year, or would it be something that they look into for the coming years ahead?
Yeah, I mean, maybe for this year, we might it might be better to look in the future, but certainly, always looking for local. We try and partner again with primarily local sponsors, either whether it be St. Andrews or Charlotte County or New Brunswick. A lot of our sponsors are local based, and that's really important to us. Is again, it's that community building, that community partnership. So yeah, certainly if any businesses or organizations want to get involved, we're always looking for new ideas of what more we can do as the event. What is there anybody in the community that we're not serving that we could? And that's, so we're always, again, open to ideas, open to discussions with businesses, organizations, so they can, again, reach out on our website. There's a volunteer link on our website, or they can just, get into contact with me or with Dani or whoever. And, again, we're always just looking to make the event more well-rounded, something for everyone, involve the community as much as possible, because it has always been a community event, since, and it's almost 30 years, and we want to continue that. And as it evolves and changes over the years, we certainly want to involve the community and new, there's a lot of new businesses in town this year, which is great to see. And hopefully if they want to be involved, they get in touch as well. Always looking to get everyone involved.
You can honestly see that when you go on your website, and I recommend that anyone's watching the show right now, if you're watching it, you have your computer or your phone in front of you, go on the website, because the lineup's incredible, not just in terms of the music, but Dani, when I look at the outdoor activities, I couldn't even really list them all on a sheet in front of me because they were so incredible. So I imagine the same thing comes about when it comes to the activities that you put on. Dog training, for instance. There's a dog training workshop. So it must be through reaching out that you build things, through communicating with the community and seeing what skills and talents people have out there. Talk a little bit about how the events come together and how, for instance, an activity like a dog training workshop can become a part of Paddlefest.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really lucky. I get to kind of chat with so many people about what they like to do and what they might be interested in leading. We have so many great organizations around here that are willing to come out and support and host an event. The Tailwise dog training on the Friday was fantastic. It happened to be a friend of a friend who was doing some dog training, and great to have them on board because we have, lovely quite a few doggos of St. Andrews, a lot of them that, are around and hanging out. So it's great to be able to service that part of the community. I think another one that I'm really excited for is the rolling rave. So that one again came up with somebody, Owen Jones, who's a friend of ours, who had this lovely idea to put on this event. And I'm really excited about it. It's one that's aimed at getting families and really anybody who wants to get active this summer out, and there'll be some music playing. They're going to do like a little lap of town and on Sunday morning and end at the tent. But you can do it on your bike, you can do it running, rollerblading, whatever you choose with your kiddos.
So I picture music playing. How does that work, a rolling rave? I'm very curious, and you will definitely see me there. Maybe not on wheels.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, so Owen's going to be playing some beats, DJing a little bit at the front, and everyone's just going to follow him down the street and just have a lovely time, enjoy the weather, enjoy some music, and just another way for people to get out, get active, but also meet members of their community. Another one that I'm really excited for is the funeral for the Bay this year. So like Luke was saying again, part of our theme a bit is eco-grief this year. Eco-grief, if anyone's not familiar with the term, is that feeling of loss or kind of sadness that comes with recognizing that our Earth is changing, dealing with a lot of big changes due to climate change, overfishing, just pollution, multitude of things. And often that can come with loss of place, people not being able to access, say, the same beaches or trails or spots that they once loved. It also comes with losing animals and parts of our environment that maybe we once are used to. I know for here, the iconic North Atlantic right whale that we used to watch in the bay not 20 years ago that we don't see anymore. And I think a lot of people wrestle with a lot of those feelings. I know I do, working in conservation. It's hard to know how to deal with all of that. And I wanted to have the Funeral for the Bay procession as a way for folks to come out and really recognize what's happening and have a community around that, because I think it's hard to deal with those feelings by yourself and feel isolated and sad about it. So I think giving folks a chance to connect and get together with like-minded people is fantastic. We're going to have some people talking about it, and then we're going to have the NGO Environmental Fair at Sunbury Shores afterwards. So that's happening from 2:30 to 5. So that will feature local NGOs like Eastern Charlotte Waterways, Passamaquoddy Recognition Group. We're going to have Nature NB, some other folks set up, the Fundy Baykeeper. And so people can come from the procession to check out the booths and see what they want to be involved with, see if there's a project that piques their interest, and they can get together to really work on restoration activities and put that grief to good use in a way.
I am interrupting for a moment to explain why we'll also be at the dog training workshop, because Maud has come out of slumber to join us on the couch. I think she heard that you were talking about nature, and I definitely, we spend our nights walking along the shore, and I think when you live in this part of the world, that eco-grief becomes very real. Do you find that as a scientist, as someone who works in conservation, that people who live in this part of the world, it is a reality that we are used to facing often?
Absolutely. I'm really lucky to work in conservation. I think it comes with, both sides of feelings, but also living in this town, I've had many folks come up to me to talk to me about, not seeing a particular mussel bed anymore, or noticing changes along the shore. And so I wanted people to have a place to have those conversations and to be able to have some action and feel like they can work towards that restoration, because I think those feelings can make us feel helpless, but we're not helpless. There's things that we can still do and to protect and help conserve this area.
Let's talk a little bit about the almost 30th anniversary of Paddlefest coming up, Luke. I know that you are still close with one of the founders, Jamie Steele. What does it mean to you to carry on that legacy, but also evolve the festival to bring it to future generations?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's been going on, for so long, and it's become such a vital part of the town, and it's such an important community event that I was lucky enough to carry on the torch from Jamie and Bruce, and from Kevin Simmons and Stacey McLean, who did it as well. And everyone that's involved now. We certainly would love to see it carry forward in the years to come. If we're not getting any younger, but we certainly still love doing it. But we're always looking for new, for the next generation that may want to carry the festival forward, or again, how it evolves going forward. And that's really important. I learned everything I know from people like Jamie Steele, and Sean Corey was somebody who was really instrumental in bringing music to SJDA when I was a student there, and to have Sean playing this year, is great. He's going to MC for us one of the nights as well. So, just lucky to have such people that are passionate about events like this in town, and hopefully we encourage the next generation to come on board too.
I know that we all look forward to this weekend all year, but I know that there are months and months and months that go into preparation for such an impactful 4-day event. When do you start planning, and do you give yourself a week off after it's over?
I don't generally. No, I try. I get a few days rest, but always thinking about, what we can change, or what we could do better, what we could improve on, or what we could build on. So it's always for me, in terms of programming, that's a year-round, and funding and things like that. It's a year-round process, always kind of the brainstorming on what the future might bring.
Are you surprised by the recognition that you received for the festival, not just in terms of media coverage and the people that travel in from other provinces, even from the United States, but you've been nominated for an East Coast Music Award as well. When you look back on everything that you've been able to carry forward, what feelings do you have towards the legacy of Paddlefest and what it's done for the community?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty humble person, so I don't like to, but I'm proud of what we've been able to accomplish. I'm glad that I was, truthfully, so the year that I took over Paddlefest, my mom had passed away. So for me, it was taking it on was a way to honor her. And she loved live music. She loved this community. She loved St. Andrews. She loved nature. So being able to do all those things for her, with Mother's Day yesterday, it's always on my mind around this time of year. So that's something that has been, point of pride for me, I guess, is to do it for her and to do it, for the people that we've lost. And actually, speaking of that, I might mention, this year we're actually doing, for the first time, it's called the Memorial Art Wall. So people can make a donation, a contribution to Paddlefest in the name of somebody that they've lost, a loved one, a friend, a family member, and we'll have some. They can either give us a photo, they can do a piece of art in honor of that person, and we'll have it just kind of a dedicated wall at the main stage for that. So if anybody is interested, they can reach out. We may be able. It's a little last minute, but we would certainly love to have more people. If they're interested in something like that, get in touch, and if not this year, that's something we hope to carry forward. So again, yeah, it's in tribute of all of these things that are so important to us. Our family, our friends, nature, community, art. All those things are so, again, vital, I think, to our well-being. Mm-hmm. So and Paddlefest is a celebration of that first and foremost.
And Dani, I think the first time I met you, you were on the ocean working with whales. What does it mean to you to bring that aspect of your life into a community that you've grown to love and woven your life into?
Yeah, no, it's been 10 years almost of being here in St. Andrews, and I just feel really lucky to be able to be a part of an event that works to highlight and really helps to introduce people to loving nature, loving local music, getting involved with the community. It's funny, I kind of think of myself back to things that I was involved with before, and I've always been a big person into live events and large events, and there's something about it. There's something about that magic of creating third spaces where people can come together and congregate, especially once a year. It's just brings a very magical feeling and a lot of energy, and I love being able to help people channel that into doing things that they love, finding their new passions, discovering something about themselves too. I think that's a really special part of volunteering and being in the community. You often find bits of yourself that you might not have, and I think that's just so special to be involved with.
I think of Paddlefest often as it brings our community together, but it also showcases our community to the world. And I think that, to me, is one of the most special things about it, is that it brings us all together, but at the same time, I think it makes the rest of the world who comes to take part in it really see what a special and beautiful community this is. With the final moments of the show upon us, do you have any final words, any things you want to make sure that you highlight before Paddlefest kicks off this Thursday?
Check out programming. I didn't even really get into it today, but so lots of music, obviously some great events, lots of free stuff, lots of family-friendly activities. The market so the Saturday morning we have that every year. A big thank you again to all of our partners, to St. Andrews Brewing, are a big title sponsor for us. The main stage is named the Wharfbound Main Stage this year. So that partnership's been really great, and thank you, Vicki and Patrick and Flo and everybody here. Just thank you to all of our community sponsors, our volunteers. We really couldn't do it without, every year it gets easier and easier, but there's also challenges. But the way that we're able to pull it off is with that community involvement and with that it takes a village mindset. So thank you to everybody that gets involved, either buys a ticket, comes and supports the events, or helps out. It's unbelievable, really.
And Luke, I can't let you go without asking you, what are they, for the music lovers out there, what are those key events we should make sure we get to so that we don't miss what's next, and maybe some of the big acts that we might not know about or do love?
Yeah, I mean, Dani mentioned, we're small festivals, so sometimes, if I'm being completely honest, getting those household names is difficult. But also for me, a big part of it is discovering new music. When I'm programming, sometimes I discover artists in working on the programming for that year that I know people will love. So there's a really rewarding part of that. And some examples of this year is an Indigenous songwriter from Calgary named Wyatt C. Lewis, who's a just really incredible songwriter, playing at Sunbury Shores on Saturday with another great songwriter from Newfoundland, Valmy. Jake Vodland and the Sturgeon River Boys are our Saturday night headliner. Recently won in Juneau. Really great, like country, bluegrass, western band. I think people are really going to have some fun with them. Sue Foley, who is playing Friday night, is a Grammy Juno-nominated blues guitarist. Jamie Steele had her play here in 2006, I believe, at the church. She's an amazing guitar player, so it's great to have her back. She's had an incredible career, so we're really fortunate to get somebody like that. Alongside, again, all of our really amazing local programming. We have the Chickahominy Mountain Band, local group, doing their album release show Sunday afternoon. So they just released their debut album on vinyl. So they'll be playing the album, which they recorded here in St. Andrews as well. They'll playing that album in full with some special guests. Check out the programming. Too much to mention, but something for everybody, multiple genres, multiple different types of venues. So hopefully get out and enjoy some live music this week and some of the other events and activities.
And Dani, anything that we didn't mention on the recreation outdoor activities that needs an extra special shout out right now?
I would say just make sure you look at that activities board. I think we covered everything, but there's so much free programming that I would love for folks to take advantage of it. There's everything from, getting out on a hike to getting out on the water to just supporting queer culture. The drag show I'm really excited for, just because it gives folks, again, a place to get together and a place to support the culture. I would say just make sure you take advantage of it. Stop by the info booth, come to talk to us about it. We can point you in the right direction.
It's incredible. You have to scroll and scroll on the website, so I highly recommend anyone to go to paddlefestmb.ca. Thank you both for being here. Thank you for being just such a huge part of St. Andrews' identity. It means the world to have this event to kick off the season, and I appreciate the work you put into it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vicki.
My guests today have been Artistic Director of Paddlefest, Luke Macdonald, and Recreation Director, Deonarine. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Southwest Magazine, and be sure to check out Paddlefest in St. Andrews, May 15th to 18th. I'll see you next time.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO Television.